Let's bring in Scott Walker. He is the president of the Capital Research Center in Washington, D.C. And he has his group, the Capital Research Center, has been investigating the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation, which is different from the slogan. So the slogan Black Lives Matter doesn't have anything to do with what Mr. Walter and me, what we are investigating. It is the organization. So last week, the CRC uncovered Susan Rosenberg's ties to a group called Thousand Currents. I'm not going to go over all investigations that we've done, but just suffice to say that the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation runs money through Thousand Currents, based in Oakland, California. And this Susan Rosenberg is a co-chairwoman of that group. And she is a convicted terrorist, a violent woman who served hard time in a federal penitentiary. I didn't know that, but Mr. Walter and his crew found that out. He joins us now from Washington. When you ran that article, and I saw it on Real Clear Politics, what kind of reaction did you and your organization get, Mr. Walter?
Well, we got a very nice reaction from conservatives who were shocked and appalled to hear about Ms. Rosenberg's background. We got deafening silence from the Washington Post, the New York Times, all the television networks, etc. Although I should say Tucker has mentioned it, though. That'd be the one exception.
Were you invited on any programs?
Nope, not to discuss Ms. Rosenberg. Mm-mm.
Were you invited on any programs to discuss the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation?
Nope.
Outside of us, did you see any other original reporting on the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation?
Maybe an occasional detail added here and there, again, only by conservative outlets, though, online.
Okay. So do you believe that the corporate media, Disney, AT&T, Comcast, these people, they don't want Americans to know what BLM Global Foundation is? Do you believe that?
I do believe that, especially in the case of Disney, who's going to have a big Colin Kaepernick show, right?
Well, they've offered him a first look. But I don't even think Colin Kaepernick knows what the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation is. I don't think all these people running around under this banner know anything about the three Marxist women who founded it. But I could be wrong. Maybe they do and they don't care.
I'm sure there's more ignorance than knowledge, but you're right. They wouldn't care that much. It seems to be very hard to embarrass the left, especially when they get to keep so many things silent.
All right. Now, the big news organizations, they're going to black out. And I think I can use that word, blackout, but CNN may have it on their list. They're going to not tell the American public this is a Marxist organization that seeks to overthrow the federal government and impose communism. And the three women admit it, do they not? The three founders.
They are, in their own words, trained Marxists. And certainly Ms. Rosenberg, the co-chairman of that pass-through that you mentioned, Thousand Currents, where the money flows through, the only repentance she had for all of her violent terrorism in the 70s, 80s, her one regret was she did not shoot back against the cops.
She wanted more violence against the police. Do you believe that if this were a front page story on the Washington Post and that ABC News and CBS and NBC picked it up and led with it on their nightly newscast and said, you know, you really should know that this Black Lives Matter Global Foundation, which drives the Black Lives Matter protests, because it does, they're Marxists and they want to overthrow the government. Do you think that Americans would care?
Sure, the average American, of course, is appalled by that kind of radicalism, and especially, you know, extremism is really extremist when it's violent.
When you reported the link between this violent convicted terrorist, Rosenberg, and Black Lives Matter Global Foundation. You would think that that would be, all right, a story that get picked up. Did you send it to the AP? Did you send your stuff out?
Oh, yes. No, we've sent it out. And in fact, our influencewatch.org website, which is sort of Wikipedia of the left, for many of these groups, we're on the first page of Google results. They don't, they can ignore us. They can just go to Google and find the same info from us.
So it is on social media, but it isn't in the corporate media. Final question calls for an opinion on your part. Why would Disney and Comcast and AT&T, which runs CNN, why would they want to promote communism, to promote people who would seize their assets, who would destroy their corporations? Why would they want to promote them?
Well, I think it's a combination of guilt, because to the extent they think about this, they feel guilt-ridden and paralyzed. And then also it's the fruit of all these decades of horrible education that we've given people. I mean, if you're a 30-something powerful executive somewhere, you're brainwashed almost certainly from the education you got.
So you don't see that as a threat, the Marxists?
You think that's just you think it's reality. Oh, well, of course, this is the way the world works. We all know that. And I kind of feel bad because, gosh, I have an awfully nice place in Greenwich, Connecticut, where I commute down to Manhattan to my offices.
All right. I don't know. There's something corrupt, obviously, in the press. It's at the most corrupt point in our history, in my opinion. But, Mr. Walter, we hope you keep investigating. And we really appreciate the good work you have done so far. Thanks for appearing tonight.
Thanks so much, Bill.
Okay.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.